Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is HD, and I'm coming at you guys with another HD broadcast. This is actually going to be game 2 between DICE and between vile.Hawk. Already a pretty interesting start to this series with Hawk playing a pretty aggressive style of ZVZ, but at the same time, DICE also rolling the dice and going with those mutalisks. And as I said before, oh man, I gotta actually set myself to mute, so I'm sorry guys about that, but always fun to get a little bit of in-game chit-chat and a little bit of conversation in before the game starts. Love to hear some of the things that people say, and some of the things that people say are also quite disturbing sometimes as well. Won't go too much into detail about that, but we had a really interesting start to this series, this ZVZ. DICE, of course, going with a gambling style, which I call it the gambling style because mutalisks are very hit or miss, in my opinion. If your opponent scouts a Spire out going up too early, they're able to counter it pretty hard with either Spore Crawlers, Hydralisks, and of course the Infestor. And the Infestor is really one of those units that is so difficult for mutalisks to deal with because mutalisks naturally they're little butt buddies. I have no other word to say it. When they're flying in the air, they just for some darn reason love to get right next to each other and do the butt hump while they're flying across the air. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but when they do that, they die pretty easily to infestors and the fungal growth. So you know, the Spire is a very hit or miss unit, not unit, but building, and the mutalisks, of course, coming out of that are a hit or miss unit. However, if you get those mutalisks out and you can surprise your opponent, you can theoretically end the game pretty easily. And for that reason and that reason alone, ZVZ has been seeing a resurgence, if you will, of the Spire and the mutalisks. Kind of a la Brood War days. If you guys ever watched the original Brood War games, when mutalisks were like a dime a dozen and were actually a necessity in ZVZ, mutalisks and the good old Scourge. Oh man, I just miss the Scourge so much. Oh, what am I talking about here? We actually have a really fast pull from Hawk here. This is surprisingly fast. I feel like this was a 10 pull. I'm gonna say it was a 10 pull, and DICE may not have enough prepared. Oh, both these players almost going for what seems to be a 10 pull here. Oh, that's pretty impressive from both these players. However, DICE only has 4 lings, whereas Hawk has 6 lings, and Hawk could do a lot of damage here, forcing the Spine Crawler to go up for DICE. DICE needs to protect this Spine Crawler with his life. He cannot allow that to go down, and he's not going to be able to do any damage with his lings inside of Hawk's main, I don't think, but he will be able to keep that Spine Crawler alive. Oh, it's going to be so close. I mean, literally, this Spine Crawler, you guard it more than you guard your most precious girlfriend. This thing needs to go up. It has appendages that are quite necessary for your relationship in this matchup, and to survive in this game, you cannot allow that to go down. So he's gonna keep that alive, actually. So good job right there. But it looks like Hawk gets out of here with most of his Zerglings alive, if not all. I think he only lost 1. So he is going to come out of this little skirmish here with a significant Zergling advantage, and that's going to be huge. Considering ZVZ is a mirror matchup and everything, every unit really does count. And Hawk is going to be able to keep, with the amount of Zerglings he's got over DICE, he's going to be able to keep DICE inside his main. He's not going to allow DICE to push out at all. Look, he's got a contain going, where he's got lings inside the main of DICE, and I really don't know what DICE can do about this. In fact, I'm not too sure about the repositioning of this Spine Crawler. You gotta keep your friends close to your heart, and the Spine Crawler here is your best friend. It's even your girlfriend, as I said before, and he nurtured it, he got it up to this point, and now it's kind of just about to break up with him. It's about to leave him. That's not good, but he has a second queen here, so there are 2 queens now out on the map. For map. DICE has 2 queens right now, so he should be able to defend against these Zerglings pretty easily. And he does have, well, let's see how many drones he's got. He's got 18, 17, so his drone count is really suffering quite a bit just from, you know, the cost of building this Spine Crawler and the Roach Warren and all that stuff, and dealing with those early lings. It just shows how much that early game pressure, if you can keep pressure on your opponent, they have to overreact and build all these units, and all in the meantime, you can produce the lovely drone. So good play right here from Hawk. He'll be able to run away from these lings pretty easily. Both players are actually going to get their speed about the same time. I think that DICE here may be able to pick off a couple lings because his speed is going to finish now, and he's going to be able to get maybe 1 or 2 lings, and then of course the other speed kicks in. So both these players are going to be able to have the same amount of upgrades right now. However, the hatchery might possibly go down for Hawk if he's not careful. He needs to make sure he gets a lot of lings out on the map right now. And of course, that Queen coming down the ramp is going to be surely helpful as well. And oh, wow, Dice with a lot of lings of his own. He's thinking about just going for the all-in ling attack here, but Hawk's already got roaches out on the map, but is it enough roaches? Dice has to run in here and test and play with the fire right now. He's got to go in. He can't pull back, and it may be too much for the lings to deal with, and Dice has to fall back. Hawk has just got way too many units on the field right now. These roaches are surely going to be the end of Dice's life. For lack of a better word, I don't know what he can do now, but he does have his own roach warren up. And wow, great macro from Dice. I mean, despite producing all those lings, despite taking heavy damage in the beginning of the game, he's got his own roach warren out, and he's got 6 roaches coming. So remember I was talking about in the first game, guys, ZVZ can be volatile or it can be stable. Well, we are seeing a volatile one in this game, guys, with both players being extremely aggressive. The game can really go either way, and I would imagine here that Dice is going to go for the one base all-in. He hasn't gotten a hatchery up yet. He knows he's behind so far economically. His only real hope at winning this game is the all-in, and you guys can see that reflected in the units that he's now pumping out on the map and he's pushing out with. But no, he is going for a hatchery, and I don't know, I feel like this might be a mistake. I honestly think he should just go for the all-in, try to end the game right here and now, rather than expanding behind this aggression. That 300 minerals could translate into, you know, 6 more lings or a couple more roaches, and that could be all the difference between a defeat and a victory here. But we'll see. It's all going to come down to how much damage he can do here. He's hopelessly outnumbered by the roaches of Hawk, and Hawk is going to be able to do so much damage. A Baneling getting in here, and I don't think Dice is gonna hit it. Oh! He hits the drones with his Baneling, and a lot of drones could possibly go down. However, at what cost? Actually, not that many drones went down. A lot of them in the red. Oh, Dice coming in with the sneak attack. He's gonna come in here like a vulture and pick up the remaining scraps, so he gets all of those drones off. But despite getting 10 worker kills, well, actually, he's actually, wait, what is going on here? Am I confused? Yeah, despite getting 10 worker kills, there we go. He is still hopelessly behind in harvesters. He's behind by about 10. That is just not gonna bode well for him. His all-in, I mean, you know, it did good damage, but when you think about it, he lost all of his roaches, he lost all of his lings, he lost, well, obviously he lost his banelings. Those guys are suicide kamikazes. You never go into battle with banelings and say, oh yeah, he's, you know, came out with about 5 or 10 banelings, because their sole duty in life is just to die. What a nasty career, you know, choice that is. And they're stuck with it too. But, yeah, Hawk is way ahead in this game like he was in the first game. And I don't know what Dice could do at this point. I mean, he does have a natural. So he did, you know, he did play with this kind of half-hearted all-in. So he does have an expansion, but I mean, good lord, his hatchery is a good 2 minutes behind his opponent. His drone count is hopelessly behind. That's the 3rd time I've said hopelessly now, so I'm gonna have to make sure to change that with a different word. He is desperately behind. And I don't know what he's going to be able to do here. vile.Hawk is getting +1 weapons right now. That's going to make the Roach's acid that much more powerful, giving them +2 per upgrade. And that's going to be pretty devastating for Dice, considering his roach number isn't even that of Hawk's right now. Hawk has got to have about double the number of roaches. Maybe not quite double, but, you know, a good amount higher. You guys can see the supply tab showing Hawk is, you know, quite far ahead as well. And you know, for laughs and giggles, let's go ahead and take a look at the APM tab. We can see that Dice is decently ahead in APM, but it doesn't seem like that little that APM bar is really helping him all that much. Of course, in StarCraft, you got to make sure your APM is effective, and a lot of times, myself included, that APM usually is just a bunch of spam with over rice. So yeah, we do have a big battle here about to unfold. Hawk pushing in for the possible kill here. I don't know what Dice can do about this. He needs to reposition his spine crawlers, in fact. He is bringing his queens off the mineral line right now to help with a little bit of transfuse and a little bit more DPS. Big battle about to unfold right here, and Hawk has so many roaches. Those spine crawlers are helping out just a little bit, but the lings coming in here, flooding at the last second, all but assuring Hawk the victory in game number 2. But keep in mind, guys, this is a best of 5. Which means a player has to win 3 games to take this series tournament win and then move on to the grand final. So Hawk isn't quite in the win yet. He isn't quite able to go to the grand finals until he wins another game. But Dice is going to GG out of here, and that's 2-0 for vile.Hawk. Well played indeed. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing game 3, because now you gotta be wondering, what is Dice thinking? I mean, he's played so hard. I know this tournament ran over the course of almost a month, so it's stressful. You know, you're playing days in and days out. You're playing all these games. What was he doing to prepare for this game? And now you think about it, he is down 0-2. So the future is not looking bright. Just like, you know, a Baneling's future doesn't look so bright. His future is not looking too bright, and he's gonna have to figure something out to deal with Hawk, because Hawk is just outmaneuvering him, outplaying him, outmacroing him, and outmicroing him at every single turn and possible corner. So let's stay tuned, guys. Game 3 is coming up next. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. This is HD signing out.